I've been asked by a friend here on YouTube who is translating some of my Blender tutorials into German language if I would model sort of a wooden cart type thing, and he's doing that on his channel, and I'll put a link to that. And so we decided that I would do one as well. So I am going to do that, and I'm just going to switch this over to a sun, just have it ready to roll. Switch some of these parameters. I'm going to take the light and the camera, I'm going to move them to another layer. Alright, so I'm going to get rid of the cube, and we're going to do this, and I'm going to do this with procedural wood that I've used before. So it's really simple to do. So I'm going to look from top view, and I'm going to lay down a plane, and go to edit mode, and scale this in the X, and start making sort of like a wood plank type thing, and no particular dimensions to this. We're just going to start doing that. So I'm going to extrude it out. So that's going to be like the floorboards. I'll just move it over a little bit, and I'm going to hit the array in the X. They're sort of all joined together, but we're going to put on a bevel. And let's get rid of the array here. Go for it. We'll try 2 and just knock this down a little bit. So it looks like we have these planks here. And I'll go for, I don't know how many of these, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. Okay, for the floorboard part. And I'm going to come back in. We'll take one of these, Shift D. We'll go like this, but I'm going to hit P to separate it out and get rid of the array. So let's find it here. Where is it? Okay, move on. There it is. And this piece, we could center this up again, the whole thing, if we wanted a little bit. All right, there it is. This piece I'm going to make a little bit bigger. So I'm going to scale this into Z and make it thicker, like that. So that piece could be on this side. And I'm going to take another one and put it on the other side. Do that kind of thing. And I think I will make this piece a little bit longer, like that. A little bit longer in the back, and then we can adjust that. All right, so I'm going to take that piece, and I'm just going to copy it over to that side. Okay, and then we are going to take this piece, we're going to bring it up and shorten it like this. Maybe what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll apply that array and set the origin to geometry and cursor to selected, and that'll allow us to mirror across that. Let's set the origin to the 3D cursor, and then we can just mirror across and make it a little bit easier. And I think we'll do the same for this piece here. We'll mirror across this guy. Okay, so now we can come back in here and we can adjust it however we like. All right, let's take this piece and Shift D. Let's rotate this around the X, RX 90, and then RZ 90. So we get it like that. Let's, it's not bad. Maybe we'll scale it in the Y a little bit, and then we'll scale this in the Z so it fits underneath there. I'm going to go into wireframe, and I'm going to get rid of the faces we don't need. We'll do that all around wherever we can. think I will take this and Control L to select it all, and then P to break it out. So we have just that piece alone. And we can take this piece and maybe we'll make it a little narrower like that. And S and the X, just keep manipulating until we have what we want. Okay, we got that. We can now array this. Let's array this in the Y. Set the X to 0. And we'll Control A, let's apply the rotation and scale. Let's make sure we're in the Y and we're not in the Z. We'll make a few of these. We'll do something like that. 3, let's go for 4. So we're going to lengthen everything, I think. All right, constant adjustment. So we can do this by looking down in wireframe, grabbing those. So I want those 4 posts there. So I do want this somewhat longer there. And it's going to be the same with these guys here. I want that to project a little bit further than that. Okay, I'm going to take all of this stuff. We'll move it back a little bit. Okay, and this piece is going to come forward like that. So we'll have that part, and then we'll make some supports in here. So the array is there, and I think I like it. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the array. And I'll come in and I'll select one of these and Control L. And I'll copy it, Shift D, and then P to break it out, make it a new object itself. And I can move it here. And let's come in here and we'll make that a little narrower. Scale this in the X. And we'll scale it in the Y as well. I think we'll make, yeah, well, let's give it a try. Let's look from the side and we're going to rotate this. Our X, I'm just going to do it by eye. I'm going to do that. So that it fits in, I can scale this in the X a little bit more. You can see it showing up on the other side. And then we'll take it, Shift D, and bring it back. And rotate in the X and just pull it around the other way. It doesn't have to be the exact same angle. That way we get some little bit of variation. Just make sure it's not poking through on either side. Okay, so we have that. I'm going to take this piece, Shift D, and we're going to rotate this. I'm going to rotate X 90. I'm going to rotate Y 90. So we get it in here. We'll look from the back and sort of center it up a little bit. And for this, we're just going to scale it down. Okay, so let's just think about this for a second here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and extend it back. We'll take that piece and we'll bring it into there. Further in, actually, like that. I'm going to put another piece there. I think I want that a bit thicker. Scale that in the Y, make it look a little bit more like wood. Break it down so that these are a little bit higher. There we go. Let's find this a piece. Maybe this has got a mirror on it. Everything's going to have a mirror on it. But that's okay. We can Shift D and copy it, and I'll just take the mirror off. So we just got that one piece there. Set the origin of geometry on that. Let's rotate Z90 and bring this in. We're going to put this one down on the floor. just in front and pushing against it. And then we can just do stuff like this. Let's see if I put that down to the ground, how that looks. Okay, so what I think we'll need to do is we are going to move this stuff and these guys back. There we go. So everything sort of seems to bolt into each other like this. This piece we can extend backwards as well, if I can get that face. This face here, you can pull it back as well. And see how that looks for us, because I want another piece on top of that. Alright, you want to think about this for a second here. These back ones I would like thicker so that it covers that. So I'm going to deal with that in a second. First of all, I'm going to take this, Shift D, and I'm going to bring it up. And maybe it would be nice if we got in here, took this bottom face here, we pulled it so that it would fit in there. And then this will pull down a little bit. Okay, we have an issue at the back here. Let's try sliding this along and seeing how it looks. See if it looks better and it goes into there. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we'll bring that back again a little bit. Like, yeah, like that. I might bring it down so I get a little bit more of this board here showing. So it looks a little bit more even. Yeah, that's probably okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and apply this mirror. So I can come in and I can grab that face and this face, and we'll try pulling this back. Decide if I like that. Rather large. I don't think I like it that much. Let's come to there. And now we're coming back there. Okay, let's save periodically. I'm thinking of bringing this out a little bit. Yep. And then we're going to take, say this one, Shift D, rotate Y90, and rotate Z90. Let's bring it back out and set the origin of geometry on this guy. I'm going to bring it in and start adjusting. I have to go around and delete some faces, I think. Scale this in the X. I want it nice and thin. I'm just going to go on the side and do it around there. And just want it to be inside this piece here. And with that done, let's start getting rid of some of these faces we don't need. Okay, so looking from the back. I have one there, and we'll have one over here. So therefore I can start Shift H to isolate this, and we'll get rid of some of these faces. We do the same with this stuff, Shift H. And all these extra faces that aren't going to be seen, we'll delete them. Hopefully I don't miss too many, but we'll see. Now let's have a look at that stuff. Oh, let's Shift H first. I got rid of those. Good. What else? These ones poke out there and there. And I did this one, didn't I? Yes, I did. Alt H to bring everything back. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we need to make a wheel. And I'll show you how I would want to do that. I'm going to take this piece, Shift D, and bring it out. I'm going to rotate Y90. So it's right at the side. Okay. Right there. Now I'm going to make my wheel out of wood. So I think what I'll do is I will bring the origin to that and Shift S, cursor to selected. So it's right in the center of that. I'm going to bring in a circle and I'll go for like, 22 vertices or something. Let's rotate Y90 so it's in the orientation of a circle and just figure out how big that wheel would need to be. I can take this and hide it for the moment. I've got this. It's from the side and figure like the axle part would be, underneath. I'm going to scale this down. Something like that, let's say. Okay. I'm going to bring that back. So what I've got is I've got these planks of wood. All right. I might make it a little bit smaller because I'm going to cut. And I want a little bit of that, a little bit of this. You'll see what I'm getting at in a minute. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to just F, where is it? There it is. F to make a face, E, and I'm going to extrude it back. I'm just making a big cylinder. I don't care if there's n-gons, doesn't matter. All right, so I've got that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Boolean. So I'm going to, with my circle selected, and actually before I do that, I want to make the metal part of the wheel, so I'm actually going to take an edge of this, the part of the circle, doesn't matter if I get the face, Shift D, bring it out, P, break it out, and just have it there. We can hide it even, see? All right, I'm going to take this, add modifier, Boolean, leave it on intersect, for the object, select that, click apply, and then select that and go X, delete. And I've got my wood planks. Now it's broken up there, but that's fine because that's why we saved this piece. Let's go back into here. Let's delete only faces. So I've got this edge right here. I'm going to bring this back and I'm going to build the metal part of the wheel out of that. All right. So I'm going to hit E to extrude. And I'm going to come out a ways. I'm going to sort of center this up over my wheel, or the wooden part of my wheel. I'm going to adjust all that in a bit. All right. I'm going to hit E to extrude, Alt S, and I'm going to pull or push. They come out like that maybe. Select it all, Control and flip any polys. Let's just have a look at this. All right, so this is what we're getting. Maybe it needs to be thicker. I don't know. Let's grab it and scale this in the X. Everything's in scale. Okay, I didn't have it quite centered. We can look down in a wireframe. We can take this piece and just sort of center it over the wheel. And in fact, I'll set the origin of geometry and maybe we'll scale this in the X. Maybe it is a bit too wide. Okay, on this piece here, let's put a subdivision surface and hit smoothing. I'll try one. We'll see if that's enough. Come in and put some edge loops. Might be a little bit thick. I don't know. Might go for 2. All right, I want to set the origin of geometry on that and on this. take the two of them. Now I'm going to scale this in the X. Bring that in. We'll rotate this in a minute. Okay, so here we go. Now we are going to make a little circle. So I'm going to just actually take it from here. I want a subdivision surface. So I'm going to grab that, Shift D, S to scale. It's right in the center. All right, E, come out a bit in the, what direction am I going? X, E, scale it in, and then mesh, faces grid fill. I'll just choose like 2. And I'll do a small bevel on this, Control B, with 1, select it all, flip polys, and smooth. So I got a little piece there, and on that, we should be still centered up. Well, maybe, I don't know. We'll bring the cursor selected there. I'm now going to bring in a, I don't know if I want to do it as a cube. I might want to just do it as a cube. You could do a something else, whatever shape you wanted. That would go like there, and then we take this and then bring it in. Let's select the whole thing. Well, I'll just get rid of that face there. Selected, and we'll rotate Y 180 to flip it around. Push it in there, and we would have that piece. Okay, we'll see how this looks with the bevel. It's not too crazy. I can just take this part and we can just rotate X to give it a view like that. I feel like that wheel overall is too big, so I can take the whole thing and try to get everything. Let's see if I got everything. Yeah. And I'm just going to scale it down. Look from the side and say, okay, that's not bad. You can just do something like that. I'm going to take this stuff, and I think I'm going to go Control G, make it a group. And I'm going to Shift D, and I'm going to rotate Z 180. Bring it over to the other side. And then if you wanted to have another pattern on there, you could do whatever you want. You know, almost looks the same. Okay, so we've got that. And then we got these pieces at the front, and I think the way I'll do that is with that selected, I'm going to go Shift A, Mesh Plane. It didn't work. That's not what I wanted to do. Make sure you bring the 3D cursor there is what I wanted to do. Doesn't really matter, but we'll do that. Okay, and I'll come in here and I'll go into vertex selection, and it's going to get rid of these vertices, so I just got those. Bring it roughly to, I'm going to have 2 things there, so I'll put it there for now. I just want to select this vertex and bring it back. I'm going to come out a little ways, so I've got 2 vertices there. Here, let's move it so you can see it there. Okay, come out a little ways, like that, and then we're going to hit E to extrude. I'm going to pull out to like there. E to extrude and come out. It's kind of like we're making a, I don't know, what do you call that thing? Tuning fork, pitchfork, whatever you call that, like that. And you can just adjust these as you like, and then we'll give a curve to that by selecting those 2 vertices and go Shift Control B and pull, and we'll do that. We'll add some points, and we're going to mirror this, so let's just go ahead and put on a mirror. All right, so we can adjust this so it's too close, or too far apart. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to hit, let's turn that off, E to extrude. I'm going to pull up like this. Let's select, okay, and then I'm going to E and Alt S and pull, and that'll give me my thickness. Come out as thick as you want these pieces. You know, maybe something like that. I can still select it and I can pull it in. I can do whatever I want with that. I think it needs to be longer, so I'm going to select this face here and I'm just going to pull out, select it all, and I'm going to bring it under. I'm still missing a couple of pieces that I need. And you know, this may take some trial and error. You may not get it the way you like it the first time. I'm going to take the back of this and pull it back. Leave those for a moment, and I'm going to come back to here. I'm going to take this piece, Shift D, bring it forward. I'm going to put it underneath. Underneath the front here. And I can make it a little bit thinner. I might even be able to, well, I think that would be okay with me. I'm also going to take it and I'm going to bring it to the back. I'm just going to stick it back there. Seems to make sense to me. Now this stuff, the mirror on there, that's fine. Let's try bevel. Let's try smoothing. That might be good enough for what we need to do. We'll have to see. Now, I think we would want to take this and have it attached like that and bolt it on. I'm not sure I'm going to want the smoothing on there. In fact, I might want a subdivision surface on here. So I'm going to get rid of the bevel. I'm going to try a subdivision surface. And I guess we'll just put edge loops like this. And we can of course do smoothing now. And I'm going to delete all these back faces here. And that will help us out. Straightening that. And we can just throw in an edge loop here. Alright, so we'd have those pieces. I'm not worried about how they would join. And then what we'll do is, we still got the 3D cursor right in the middle. Everything's fine. Right? So I'm going to do another piece, Shift A. I'm going to bring in a circle. I'll go with those 22 vertices. Let's bring it out. We'll look from the front, rotate X 90. I'm going to scale it down so it looks like it fits on this thing. And that would attach to the animal. Look from the front. I'll go into edit mode and vertex. And I'm going to delete all of those vertices there. So I just have the half. Pull this down. And we can scale this a bit so it looks like it fits. E to extrude. I'm going to give it some thickness this way. Width, whatever. Select it all. E and Alt S, and you can pull or you can push depending on how you want this to go. So I'm basically going to do that. And then select it all, and then I'm just going to hit S to scale and push it down in. Scale it again so it's roughly in the middle. This kind of thing. We can now solo that and get rid of these bottom faces. bring everything back, and I probably would also put a subdivision surface on. So I'm just going to go Control L modifiers. No, that's not what I want. It's got a mirror, so I'll just do subdivision surface on that alone with smoothing, and then I'll add my edge loops. For this piece of wood here. There and there. Okay, there's another thing I want to do. I want to take this piece here, Shift D. I'm going to bring it forward. I'm going to make a little support here. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to scale this in the X. I will be able to get rid of those faces, I believe, unless I want them sticking through. I'm not sure. Sometimes it's nice to have it stick out like that. And I might just want to just do that. But I want it inside, so scale that in the Z. I want it like this. It's not, I feel like it's not quite centered, but I'm going to scale this in the X, come out a bit more. There we go, that's a little bit better. Let's look from the side here. Yeah. I think that's kind of what we're going for here. It was not too long at the front. You know, all these things you can adjust. I might shorten it just a little bit, so I'm going to do that. And that piece I'm going to pull back. And then these, do that in wireframe. Box select, pull them so they're there. And then all this stuff. Okay, maybe I like that better. Okay, so let's hit the materials now. It's going to be pretty simple. Okay, so I got that there. I'm going to split my screen. T and T. I'm going to switch this over to the UV image editor so we can see this. I'm going to come in here and select it, and I'm going to I think for this I'm going to go U, Smart UV Project, and just leave it, just like that. Okay, so I've UV unwrapped that, so very simply. Node editor. Let's go out there. Let's switch over to the material view, and let's have the light on so that we can see what we're doing here, like that. We're going to make a material for this. I'm going to click New, and the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to use a procedural wood, and this is what I'm basically going for. All right, I'm not going to do the wood lines. I'm just going to do this stuff. All right, and I did this before in a couple other videos where I made the cabinet and stuff. So we're going to have a principled BSDF and this stuff. We're not going to worry about this stuff. Okay, so principled with a mixed RGB. So let's just do that. So let's select that, Shift S, and make sure that's principled. I'm going to Shift D to copy that, and I'm going to Shift S. I'm going to make that to a mixed RGB. All right, we're going to need a wave texture, so I'm going to copy that and Shift S, texture, wave texture. And with this one selected and the node wrangler active, I'm going to go Control T. I'm going to use a UV. All right, so we're going to have this, and the color is going to go into here, and that's going to go into here, and already we start to see some funny stuff going on here. Okay. All right, over here under the mapping, I'm going to switch this to 45. That's going to straighten things out. I'm going to switch this over to rings, however, and it's going to be all weird. And so now we're going to just adjust this, okay? So I'm going to put some values here. I'm going to use about 1.2 on here. And I'm going to use about 25 for distortion. And I'm going to put a scale of about 10, like that. And sometimes it works better if you don't apply the array yet, and I probably should have done that, but we can work with this. I hope we can work with this. So just mess around until you get what you like, and then for colors, I'm going to go with like a dark brown here, and I'm going to color pick this one. Oh, sorry. Color pick that one, and I'm going to change this one to a darker color, maybe a little more red. And you could just do it. That's the neat thing about this. You can do any colors you kind of want. Let's say I like those colors, and I do. Okay, I'm going for a bit of a cartoony look. All right. We can come over here. We can set the roughness a little bit lower, and you start to see the wood coming through. Now we'll probably put some environmental lighting. Now the ends of these may not always look right, and I'll show you what I mean by that. But I don't care, because this is a cartoony thing. I'm just going to call this wood. Not that it really matters. If I take these, I'm just going to select one, and I'm going to go Smart UV Project and accept the default. And then I'm going to select that wood and put it on, and just see how it's starting to look. All right. Not too bad. I can scale some of this if I want, but let's just go ahead and do the rest. In fact, let's go and put an environment texture. And what I mean by that is an HDR texture, something you find from the internet. And I'm going to go for this kind of sunrise. It seems kind of right for farming or whatever. And I can see things a little bit better. Let's just close this so we can see this. All right, let's select these. Just Smart UV Project and apply that wood. Let's see how it looks. All right. This right here, select it all. Smart UV Project. Now there may be parts that I didn't remove all the ends, and that may affect things a bit. Just go through it like this. Select it all. Smart UV. Give it a try and see if it's good enough. Now, do you want the same wood on everything? Maybe not. Or maybe you're just fine with that. We got the mirror on, so it makes it pretty easy. Let's try a wheel. Select Smart UV. Hope this works okay. It's not too bad. What did I turn on here? right, same thing all the time. Very simple. I'm not trying to recreate the wheel. All right, let's keep going. We don't have a lot of control here, all right, because of the way we're doing it. We're just doing something real quick, you know, some of these cartoon things, you know, there's not a lot of detail, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't look perfect. It just represents what it is, a cart. Now this one, we can try Smart UV Project and see how it looks. That looks all right to me, unless you wanted the grain going the other way. But there is something I wanted to try, and I think I'm okay with that, actually, like that. Though, do we want to try something else? We could maybe select that edge and one of these edges, you know, in the middle. Control E, mark seam, select it all, and just U, unwrap, and see how it looks. And maybe that looks better. It's fine. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to select, if I could, every second one of these, just like that. And then I'm going to Control B, a little bit. Actually, you know what? Is that enough? Yeah, let me just do that. And then E and Alt S, and I'm going to push in. And that's going to do that. All right, and we'll see how that, I'll just show you how that's going to look. Okay, you may or may not like that effect. I'm just showing you that you could do it. And for this stuff, we'll just select it, click New. I'll switch this to Principled. I'm going to make this nice and dark. And I'll put the metal at like 0.1 and roughness at 0.45. We could try that. Let's see. And I'll do the same. I'll select that part. Oh dear, we forget this. Let's have a peek at this. Hit the home button, zoom in. Let's have a quick look at this with that HDRI, like that. Where do we want to go? We want ray visibility. Turn off camera. And I might even want over here under film transparent. I might even want that. Yeah, we're good anyhow. If you find that any of these pieces, the wood grain is a little bit too fine compared to, say, here, all right, and you wanted to change that, you could always go back into the UV image editor. And select that piece. I've still got the mirror on. Make sure it's all selected. And over here, select it all. And you could scale it while you look at this. You just hit S and scale. And you could have it match a little bit more. You can move it around if you want. And then, you know, maybe you prefer that look. It'll do the two of them there. If you want to do this one, you could make sure you grab that. You could scale that until it's bigger. Yeah, that kind of thing. that for any of the pieces that you want. That's good enough. Okay, close that up. Select your layers and your camera. And get the angle you like. Set up your render. Alright, I'm going to go with 70%. My sampling is just 200. I've got denoising on. And press render. And you get your little cart. You could also go through and make sure that you don't have any faces that you don't need. And that'll lower your poly count. Decide if you need a subdivision surface, how much beveling you want, if you want beveling at all. There we go. So it's just a nice quick way of making a cartoon cart. Alright, some of these pieces may not look like they fit that well, but I think everybody could tell right away, hey, it looks like a wooden cart. Alright, and this is without any bump added to the wood. Just very straightforward. Alright.